What are the keys to building wealth through investments? So this is critical because first you have to build the wealth to actually do the investing, and the wealth is through a business. So let's break this down. What are the real keys to investing for wealth? Number two, where do most people get the investing strategy wrong and actually derail or not even start properly? And then the last thing I want to talk about is how do you start today? How do you start building investment wealth today? First of all, let's talk about what is investing wealth from a definitional standpoint. The keys to building wealth through investment is strategy. What's the strategy going to be in what asset class? What's the structure going to be, meaning the corporate structure, the tax structure, and then what's the reinvestment plan of any capital cash flow that comes off of that plan. In my Wealth Cycle Investing book is probably the best guide you're going to have. It's my third book on the Millionaire Maker series. So make sure you download up to 3 chapters of this and read through it. Inside of here also, as you continue on, it talks about due diligence, risk analysis. It's going to give you a variety of asset structures and strategies of how to put together a real estate portfolio, a gas and oil portfolio. How do you actually start doing a lot of that? And to get started, for those of you that are just beginning, stay tuned to the end, and I'm going to give you an app that can help you today. So the real keys to building wealth is you got to invest with a purpose. Now, I remember back in the day when I started my company, it was Live Out Loud at the point in time, and I was just focused on income, sales, generating, coaching, doing real estate tours, because that was the beginning. And I realized through that there was so much energy and attention there that I actually wasn't giving a ton of attention to investing. Because here's what happens, and I started noticing it at the Real Estate Investment Association, just where I was speaking, is you'll give like a meeting a week to your real estate investing, because you'll go to your association meeting for maybe, even if you stay and go early and stay late, maybe you give 3 hours a week. So if you really want an investing strategy for wealth to come into your life, you've got to put the energy and focus on, again, everything that you do is frequency, is what you frequently see is where your focus is. So what part of your day, every day, even if it's reading, even if you say, I'm going to read a chapter a day and then pick up another real estate investing book, you can go to askrealestatecoach.com and ask us a question, make a request. There's a lot of information there that you can just study, askrealestatecoach.com. But every day, put a 5 to 7 day curriculum together so you start focusing on what it is you're going to learn, so you actually intentionally start looking at strategies and understanding the principles of investing. You want to think about the diversification of your assets. And for those of you that are high income earners, you're going to need to look at alternative assets that have big depreciation schedules. So those would include gas and oil. They would include real estate, a variety of real estate. It would include a variety of aviation investments. You don't have to actually own the aircraft, but maybe you fractional owner of some level, but you actually have to own the aircraft. It can't just be a membership. The membership doesn't pass through the depreciation schedule. You can look at mineral rights, water rights. You can look at a lot of different assets. But if you're a high income earner, how you invest for a tax strategy is going to be vital to you. If you just put money in the stock market, which a lot of you do, you have 1 or 2 asset classes. You might own a little real estate and a lot of money in the stock market, which includes your 401k, which is in the market. That's not a very big, diverse strategy. And worse, you have no tax strategy in there. So again, what are your goals as you think about real investing for wealth? Is it to actually grow your balance sheet? So you're actually growing your asset base? Is it growing your asset base that's going to pour off a bunch of income? Those are very different kinds of investments. And or is it about your tax strategy? So you got to know what your goals are. We can help you with that by downloading my Millionaire Maker book, version 2. Read the whole thing. The difference between version 1 and 2 is 40 different scenarios at the back of the book that tell you other people are on their way or become millionaires doing it. So as you read the book, in chapter 3, you're going to do what's called a gap analysis. It's where you are and what you want. Start thinking about your goal. I call it a Freedom Day goal. So how much do you really want? Was it $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month? For every million, you can pretty much assume, right? Just do the math. $1 million invested at 12%, it's 120,000 divided by 12 is 10,000 a month. So if you want 50,000, you're going to need to build an asset base, a balance sheet of $5 million to get 50,000 if you can get it invested at 12%. And I say if because so many of you hook, line, and sinker buy a lot of these interesting, I'm not going to just call them scams, but just opportunities, financial vehicles that just come out. The newest one on the playing field right now is data centers. Some of them are extraordinary. Some of them are absolute scams. So how do you know how to do due diligence? Again, download the book, start learning, and come up with your own strategy of how to do due diligence. If you dig deep enough in the askrealestatecoach.com structure and that site, we actually have some analytics for a small monthly fee that will do all your analytics around any real estate deal that you ever want to do. So know what your due diligence strategy and your strategy to invest is. So where most people get it wrong is they think that they're going to invest into some stock market fund and make a bunch of money, and you forget that there's taxes on the other side. For those of you that are carrying really high interest debt, you need to manage your debt. Debt's the cost of money. So as you put money into investments and you carry a high interest debt, it's just an offset. Like, that's not really a strategy. I mean, at best you might break even, but emotionally you're not driving anything because your focus is straddled between making and getting rid of. So you can't do both. You can't be fat and skinny. You have to be one or the other. So it's the same with wealth building. You're going to overpay tax. You're not going to overpay tax. You got to pick a path. And that comes with your strategy in the beginning. So once you fill out that gap analysis, just to wrap that up, make sure you call our office, 775-588-9200, and get a one-on-one session with one of our strategists and talk through what you can do to absolutely get a plan, get a strategy, and how we can mentor and coach and help you to do that. Now, before I continue on, I want you to subscribe to this channel, click the notification button. I want you here 5 days a week. And share this channel with as many friends as you can. We do once a month what's called the Millionaire Intensive, and I want to give you 2 tickets. We always give tickets out here at our YouTube channel because I want you to really understand, what is it like to live corporate life? Is it a thing? You know, this morning I talked to some folks that are looking at joining our big table, and they said, well, you know, what is this corporate lifestyle thing that you talk about? Is it really a thing? And I said, it's the only thing. It's not just something, it's a name I gave it, but the pattern of how to make money, keep money, invest money with a team is how millionaires have been made for hundreds of years. It's not just something I've made up. I just teach it to you in a much simpler way that you can actually grasp the concept. So the only way to create the kind of wealth and invest in wealth, if you're a high income earner and that's all you're doing, is you got to make a lot of money as an employee, and you better have a big bonus structure, and you better put a lot of money away because about 40% of it's going to go to taxes. So it's a really slow path. Last thing, how do you start today? I would start with an iFlip account. So you can get that link. It's a free link. It's in the show notes below. You can start with $50. You can open a personal account. For those of you that make the appropriate amount, you can actually start a Roth IRA and start just putting small amounts away. You can also start looking at Reg A offers. There are smaller investing strategies. I would personally, and I do this, I would put it all in iFlip. I would accumulate it to $25,000 to $50,000, and then I would start looking at alternatives like real estate. I would look at gas and oil if you're accredited. I would start looking at other investments that are diversified out of the stock market. It's up to you. But if you get it wrong, it's a lot to rebuild. So always preserve your principal is my final thought. Preserve your principal, continue to grow that, and go to 195 in my Millionaire Maker book. And I give you a place and a process to get rid of your debt, to manage it. We're not going to get rid of it. We are the Millionaire Maker folks. And this is how we handle debt and how we make sure that the principal, the core amount of your money, needs to be invested as much as you can at all times, reinvest it. You'll be shocked. Get out a compounding calculator. Last homework. When you get out a compounding calculator and start playing with some numbers of putting 100 away and then contributing, and say you can invest it, 12 to 15% is not hard to get in this kind of an economy right now. And start seeing how fast you can double. The rule of 72, 7 years doubling your net worth. I think you can get it down to 3 to 5 years. I know you can. If you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL. Ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.